Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. And Benelli USA, dominate the skies.
Alrighty, welcome to this episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. Man, this week we are sitting here in North Alabama with our buddy Blake Haithcoat. Blake, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, Chris?
Man, I'm doing all right. Blake, you're a dog guy. Do you consider that first and foremost? Like, when you describe Blake, do you say, I'm a dog man, or how do you describe Blake?
Yeah, just good old country boy, dog person. Just blessed to be able to do what I do.
So, are you North Alabama born and raised, like North Alabama native, or how'd you end up here in Florence, Muscle Shoals?
Yeah, so I grew up right there in a town called Cloverdale, just
okay.
a little bit north of Florence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so native, born and raised. Have you always, been around dogs? Obviously, dogs are a big part of your life now, but growing up, like, did you always have dogs around, or?
Yeah, so my dad was a big outdoors guy, too. He never duck hunted at all, but he was a big rabbit hunter. We had a lot of beagles, and then, squirrel dogs. We was around a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, was your dad a dog trainer, or just had them?
Yeah, they were pretty much self-trained. You turn
Sure.
them loose, and, if it was good, you kept it. If it wasn't,
Got another?
Yeah, you found it a good home and moved on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So early on, like, those are your early hunting memories, like chasing squirrels and rabbits? And
yeah, more the rabbits than anything with Dad. We did a lot of deer hunting, but more or less just stomping through the swamps there at home and trying to jump a rabbit and, just listening to the dogs run was pretty much the fun part of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So for not having a duck hunting background, what made the switch from rabbit, squirrel, dogs into the retriever game? Like, did you start duck hunting at some point and that eased you into it, or how'd you get there?
So I met this guy through a buddy of mine, and we became friends just right off the bat. And he was a duck hunter, still is. We're best friends now. And he was like, "Why don't you go duck hunting with me?" And man, I don't even have a pair of waders. Like, I don't, so I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought I think they're called Red Line. Maybe $100.
Yeah.
They look like they were glued on me.
Yeah.
So we get out there, and back 20 years ago, so when I started, I guess, for the first time in a swamp called Sinking Creek down in Oakland, Alabama.
Yeah.
We were hunting with a fellow named David Rice, and he, maybe it was 50 ducks, maybe it was 100, I don't know, but the sky was black to me.
Yeah.
And
felt like a million.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where it started, for me.
And so who was your buddy?
Jason Haddock.
Okay, so Jason, did Jason have a dog first hunt?
Jason had a dog. His uncle had dogs. He was big friends with a guy named Mark Miles.
Okay.
Mark's a big time dog guy. He lives in Arkansas now, but he was here in Florence, Alabama for a long time.
Okay, so you said about 20 years ago, gone your first hunt, and I think that's a similar story for a lot of us that were kind of maybe adult onset, a little bit older, like that ended up duck hunting as opposed to like our dads dragging us around when you're 4, 5, 6 years old. You have that first experience and it's incredible, and you're like, man, I want to keep doing this. How long between that first hunt and like seeing Jason's dog before you were like, man, I got to have one of these?
Yeah, so it really wasn't even. I loved watching the dogs work, but it was probably the summer after. We hunted for a little while that winter, and then during the summer of the next year, his dad had some puppies out, and they were out in the garage. And we go over there, and Jay had planned on keeping a few of them just to see which one was the best. And there was this dog. It was a boy dog, and he was out there he didn't want anything to do with us. And my buddy, he said, why don't you take that dog and see what you can do with him? Because I was laid off work. I wasn't working at the time. And that's kind of where I started messing with the dogs. I ordered the Duck Dog Basics by Chris Aiken.
Nice.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy. I'm sure a lot of people have.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. But we ordered those videos, and then it was just kind of twice a day. I'd go out there every morning, watch the videos, go do it, come back in, see if I was doing it right. Just trying really hard and spending time with the dog. And, it turned out he was a really nice dog, and that's kind of where it got started with me.
Okay. What's his name, that dog?
Manny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He just passed, I don't know. He was 15, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So he ain't been gone that long ago.
Yeah. Oh.
Seems like yesterday,
Yeah. So obviously you hunted with Manny. Did you get into the hunt test field trial game with him, or was that a little bit later?
So we ran one test down at the cattle ranch in South Alabama.
Okay.
That's probably been 8-9 years ago now. We didn't do good. We made it to the second series, but we learned a lot that time, and then that's my buddy Jay. He had bought another dog, and he had it with a trainer named Jody Ware up in Charlotte, Tennessee. And then when we went up there, me and Jody kind of hit it off, and he kind of took me under his wing, and that's where I kind of started getting all my knowledge.
Okay.
Was from Jody. He kind of just seen I had some dog sense, and and just pretty much helped me the whole way through. If I had a problem with something, I call him, and he would he'd let me know.
So since Manny, there's been a pile of dogs, I'm sure, but thinking back to him, or kind of like getting started, because I think that's a really common transition. Somebody goes hunting for the first time, and there's like a few basic tools that everybody feels like they need to have, right? They need to have a duck call, whether or not they know how to blow it.
Yeah.
You got to have waders, whether or not they're, from Dick's Sporting Goods or Shin Gear or whoever. You got to have a pair of waders, and then it doesn't take very long. Or like, I need a duck boat and I need a dog. Like they just all go together. So a lot of folks run out, they get a dog, and a lot of guys are either can't afford to send them off to a trainer, or maybe are too intimidated to try to, or just too arrogant and prideful, and like, I'm going to train this dog myself. Can you remember some mistakes you made with that very first dog, or stuff you see maybe with first time trainers, like they get their first dog and they're like, I'm gonna give it my best shot?
Some of the things that I think we see early is like people want to get it home, and the coolest thing is to make it sit there till you call its name. And like knowing what I know now and what I've been taught is, we want to make sure the dog's got enough fuel in the tank before we start, breaking down momentum. So what I would suggest to somebody getting started was, if you got a trainer close by, that will let you come over and hang out and just learn from them, or if you got somebody in mind that you plan on sending the dog to, go out and kind of get some advice, see what they would do. I think most people, the good dog trainers around are, they got a lot of good advice they can give you for a puppy.
Yeah. And
Buy a good puppy too.
Yeah. The quality of dog that you start with definitely matters. Mm-hmm. And I guess it really just depends on kind of what the end result or what you're trying to get out of that dog. But yeah, getting a good dog is definitely important on the front end. All right, so we had Manny. You had somebody kind of take you under your wing and help you with some of those early questions. How long before Sinking Creek Kennels became a thing? Like, what was the span between you getting your first dog and, I can start doing this?
Yeah, so I bought a place out there in Cloverdale. I bought a house in 25 acres there, and it's way off the road. And it was like, okay, now I got a place that I can, I feel confident. People coming out here, and it's nice. Started spending quite a bit of money on kennels, and had some good clients early on that really believed in me, and they're still with me today. Couldn't have done it without them, But that's when it's probably been about 8 years ago now.
Okay.
When I started kind of doing it for the public.
Yeah. And when you started doing it for the public, like, is that when you kind of stepped more into some of the hunt test field trial stuff? Do you do any of that now, or kind of how does that?
So yeah, we
How
we
does
had
that
our
play?
own dogs. I felt like I needed to make my own before I could tell somebody else I could,
Yeah.
I can do yours too.
Sure.
And then, like I said, I had a female that started campaigning, got her senior title, and then, man, it was a little bit of a transition for me into masters just because I didn't have the confidence and, I don't know, like the fear of failure, was it for me. But once we went to Bruce, Mississippi there for the first time, I took 2 dogs, and we passed them both, So then it was like, okay, we can
Yeah, we can do this.
And then that's where it kind of went from there. I started getting a client here and there, that wanted to play the game, and it just kind of took off from that.
Yeah. So what was that first dog you said that when he got her senior?
Her name was Allie.
Allie.
Yeah.
And did you hunt Allie? Like she was
We
your
did.
dog?
Yeah, we hunted her some. I had an old chocolate dog that, man, she was a good dog, but I didn't really like her.
Okay.
And the old guy had one that he couldn't control, and he brought her by, and we did a little trading on her, and she was a year and a half old when I got her, which is not ideal for starting something like that. But the boy that did the basics done a pretty good job, and just a lot of trial and error, to get her through a senior, and she finally got her master hunter title. She was a decent dog. She throwed some really good puppies. We did a cross between my buddy Jay's dog and her, and those are some really nice dogs. I think there was several out of that bunch that passed the Master Nationals this year.
Okay.
So
Well,
some
heck
of
yeah.
them's with Adam Campbell there.
Yeah.
Yeah, some pretty nice cross.
Yeah. Man, Adam's some good people.
Yeah, he is. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's helped me a lot too.
So for somebody that's maybe intimidated or scared of the hunt test field trial game, because I know, like, for me, like, that's something I've always kind of watched from the outside. Like, I love watching dogs work. I've had conversations with folks before, like, man, if they said we had to stop duck hunting, like, I mean, the dogs not being able to work is such a big part of it, or not being able to see that. So I've watched the field trial game, but, like, taking that first step and, like, going to your first event is a little bit intimidating. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to somebody, like, that's kind of on the fence or considering, like, starting to try it?
Like, we all started somewhere, I mean, if you go to the gym, you may be the smallest guy in there today, but you keep working at it, and, you're going to be as big as some of the others, in 6 months or a year, whatever. I mean, just jump in, find somebody local. I mean, if you're here local to me, I mean, I'm glad to help. Bring the dog out. We can show you some stuff, Just basically get involved. Don't be afraid. Like, we're all just good old people,
Can you think of any funny stories from a hunt test or field trial or anything with the either handler or dog or something you've done?
Oh, plenty.
Yeah. Give us one.
Well, for one, our first one we ever went to, my buddy there, she picked up no telling how many ducks, and she was a nice hound. But they shoot the first one, and the second one comes out. It was a senior test. The second one comes out, and she goes down there to get it, and she puts her nose right on it, and, like, don't pick it up. And it's like, it's embarrassing, when you're standing there and you're, it's your first time, and we get back to the truck, and, one of the guys come over, and he's like, hey, you ever smelt one of these ducks? Y'all throw many of these ducks? And they're like, no, I mean, we just throw the ones we kill in Arkansas or wherever. And he's like, well, come check these out, and they smell horrible. If you've ever been around it, they're pin birds, and they come in on a truck, and it's they smell different. So yeah, that was a learning experience, and I don't know. There's plenty of stuff that I've messed up on.
Yeah.
Through the times, you look back and you go, oh, if I'd have done that a little different. Biggest thing with the hunt test stuff that I can think of is, the nerves and like pressure. You got to be able to just slow down, and it's good if you got somebody and say, hey, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just chill out. But as far as funny stories, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch.
Oh, sure.
We had a great time this year. I was very fortunate. The guys that we pre-trained with, they let me come in. This was my first Master National ever, and they let me come in their crew and be a part of their pre-training group, and I'm just blessed. That really good guys.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just mentioned Arkansas, so I just back to duck hunting for a second. Do you still hunt around here at all, or do you travel across the river for the most part?
I hadn't hunted here in several years, mainly because, until this past March, I've worked a job and trained dogs. I just went full time March 28th of this year, and mainly, we'd get off work on a Friday and take out to Arkansas. So we were out there the whole time. And then me and three other guys, we bought a house out there in Hunter, Arkansas.
Okay.
And then our little field ain't but 10, 15 minutes up the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was about to ask if y'all leased a place over there, if y'all chasing them on public.
Yeah, we don't do much public. We don't like to race, and we don't like the big crowds.
Yeah. Did you go over there first split? Were you over there at all?
Yeah, we was there opening weekend. I think we killed 15 the first morning and 15 the second morning.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad.
Yeah, we were in the public woods, and it was as crazy as you could imagine. That was the most vehicles I've ever seen at a boat ramp ever in my life. I'd left. It was cold that night. We were out on the river, so I'd left the dog in the box of the truck, and so I had to go pick him up. It was about 3 o'clock. I was like, I'll just run up river, grab the dog, come back. Everybody else was on the riverbank already, kind of staged. So I get back up to the boat ramp, and my buddy called me. He was like, "Hey, I'm having boat problems. Like, somebody's gonna have to pick me up." I was like, "Well, I'm already here. Great." And he had to park like 3/4 of a mile away in a walk all the way down to the ramp. It was a bit of a circus.
Where were you guys at?
We were up north. We scraped out a few, but it was a mess. So There was a lot of folks.
Dave Donaldson.
I mean, maybe not. So, yeah, there was a lot going on, but let's say there was a little bit of water. I know some folks killed a few. I'm curious to see what happens now. I mean, everybody needs water right now. Like, everybody I've talked to is like begging for a little bit of rain. Do y'all pump your own field, or?
Yeah, they pump it, and I think I've talked to some guys this past week that think that maybe the ducks that came down, they feel like they got a pretty good push.
Okay.
But there wasn't enough water there to hold what got pushed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna try to go back out Tuesday and
Heck yeah,
give it a go. And
yeah, with my schedule, I don't think I'm gonna get over till the weekend this week, but we'll see. I mean, all we can do is go back out and chase them. So, you got a dog you're taking on this trip? You got a specific one?
And, I thought about taking all of them with me. I got some guys out there that train a lot too. So
yeah,
I can kind of hook up with them and hunt for a little while and then go train.
Oh, nice.
But I usually don't train. Like, I don't take one anymore. Usually, I got a good client there, Josh Rumble. He takes one just about every time. She's retired from the hunt test game, but she loves it, and she comes in and sleeps on the couch with him. So
yeah.
And then my buddy Jay, he still hunts his.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't hunted one, man, since I lost my old dog.
Yeah.
And then Allie, she caught breast cancer.
Okay.
So I just kind of
let
her take it easy.
Yeah, that transition after a good one's tough. So I had the first dog, like my first duck dog, first dog ever tried to train. I lost last year. It was the opening weekend of Arkansas. I left her at home because didn't know how crazy it was going to be, and ended up losing her while I was gone, and so I wasn't even there at the end of it. And so I'd said I was going to hold out before I got another dog, and then I got kind of lucky and found the pup I have now. And so I ended up picking him up it was right around the holidays. So he came home sometime mid-December. So this is his first year hunting. So we've been going hard at it, and he's crushing it.
You training him yourself?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Lots of little problems, but he's had a pretty darn good year so far. So we took him to Canada. He got to hunt with us for a few days up there, and he picked up his first dry field mallard on his birthday, his 1-year birthday,
cool.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He hunted opener with us and took him back last weekend. And this year, I mean, that opener, we were it was a decent sized hole, but there was a lot of guns in it and another dog, which we have trained with some other dogs, but he had never hunted with one. And so.
Did he get competitive?
No, man, he did really good. Like the first couple of retreats, I was letting the other guy run his dog. We ended up sliding with their group, and so I told him, I was like, man, this is your group. Like y'all are hunting here. Like, yeah, it's like you run your dog, and then if something falls real close, whatever, like we'll pass it out. And so the first, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 retrieves, I just made him sit there in honor, which I could tell like he didn't quite understand why he was having to sit there in honor, but then like after that it was fine. Like he'd go when he needed to, and sit there and let him run his dog when he needed to. So yeah, I mean he's doing great. We got to work on the off switch at the house. He's pretty high intensity still, but he's still a baby. So we got.
How old is he?
He's a year. So he was a year in October. So a year and 2 months. So yeah, he's still.
Is it already clicked? Like when they start calling back or whatever, he's still looking up?
Yeah, so I was noticing on this last weekend, he's looking, like when everybody starts calling, he's looking out, but he's not quite looking, he's not tracking up yet. I can see you can see he's putting it together, like he definitely knows like when we're all just kind of standing there and nobody's taking stuff serious as opposed to like, hey, we're working ducks. You can see his demeanor change, but especially being in the trees, he's not quite watching them up top yet, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with him so far.
Good. So how did his first hunt go?
So first hunt was pretty well. I got really lucky that our first couple of hunts sucked. So I started hunting him teal season, which I took him to a dove field one morning, just while everybody else was shooting. Like I had a gun with me, but I was like, I ain't gonna pull the trigger. I'm just gonna make him sit here with me, let everybody else shoot. And he didn't retrieve anything that first morning. Like we were out there maybe 45 minutes or so, put him back in the box, came to the house. So teal season runs around, and right before teal, I went over to Morgan Wilson, went and saw him, and Morgan was getting ready for a hunt test, and so we kind of got to shoot over him a little bit more and run a few things, just see how he kind of react and handled it. I was like, he's going to be all right. So the first teal hunt we went on, we had a lot of wood ducks landing on the water, and obviously we can't shoot wood ducks here in Alabama during early teal. So they'd sit there, land on the water, and then, flush and fly off, and he just had to sit there and watch. And it took, I think it's probably his third hunt going before we actually shot teal. Like we got skunked those first couple of trips. And so by then it was fine. His first retrieve was clean. He had a cripple, which would have been his second retrieve, which that was a new game because we had trained with live birds, but hadn't done a whole lot of training with cripples. So that took him a second to kind of figure it out. But after that, it's been relatively smooth sailing.
Yeah. So that's what we see a lot of problems in we give them the tools to do what they need to do, but they don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So when you go out there, like I remember we got one dog, his name's Ace. He's got 5 master plates, and he's qualified all age. The first time we took him hunting, it was just me and Jay in the pit, and I don't remember. Some ducks come in, probably shovelers,
Sure.
And we pull up, shoot a couple times, and we're, high-fiving, and then we look over to the dog box, and the dog ain't even there.
Yeah.
Like, where's he at? And he's in the bottom of the pit, so it's like, I don't know. It was discouraging to see he was in the bottom of the pit, but I mean, he didn't know. It was all foreign to him.
Sure.
You know, he'd picked up a bunch of dead ducks, but he'd never been hunting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just if you can get your buddy and you know, get them in the perfect situation. Rarely, like, don't put them in a pit.
Yeah.
Somewhere where you can put them on a stand or something. Or if you're gonna put them in a pit, find somebody that's got one and go work them out of it. Get them used to getting in and out of there, you know.
Yeah, that was something. So this dog's name's Dugan. With Dugan, I really tried to I kind of think through hey, what are we gonna go through when we go hunt? Like the boat ride, the dog box, dog stand, like whatever, you know, all those different components of like what's gonna happen in a hunt. And I don't want any of those to happen for the first time the morning of. Like I want to hit him with as little new as possible. And so I think that really helped. That was something I wish I could go back, you know, and tell younger me with my last dog. She was handling really well, but I put her in a hunt a little bit too soon. And so she went on a wood duck shoot, and it was like fast and furious and birds flying and, you know, hitting the water really quick. And it caused some problems that we had to work through. And it took a long time to kind of undo some of those problems. Like she wasn't gun shy, but she was like gun hungry. Like she wanted it so bad. It was really hard to pull it back after that first trip. So like I said, I tried to really intro a bunch of things ahead of time. Obviously I didn't do a perfect job. There's some things I definitely could have done better.
None of us still do a perfect job.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed, so I mean, you got to kind of see my backyard here for a second. So I can run about 70 yards and then you're at the woods. That's about as far of a blind or mark as I can run here. And so I noticed like there was a kind of a hard line at 70 yards. Like he figured out real quick, in his mind, this is how far I'm supposed to run. And so being able to take him somewhere else and stretch that out a little bit was definitely something I had to figure out. You don't necessarily think about that. Like, 70 yards, it'll be plenty of space. But
till you shoot a cripple and it's out there at 200.
Yeah. Like when we went up to Canada, which Canada was great. I was really on the fence with taking him, but like I said, he had done well during teal, and we had some good goose shoots up here, and I was feeling confident enough in him. He was handling well enough that I was like, I think he can do it. And so being able to hunt those birds in those dry fields, like kind of stretch out a little bit where he could see for a long ways, I think it was really good to kind of get that experience in early.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, anytime they can see something out there, to give them the confidence to go, and you got control of them, that's a big help.
Yeah.
Big help.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out water blinds right now. That's been a whole different animal. I have a few places I can go and run him, or have been going to run him, but not having a pond here at the house or whatever. We hunted the river Saturday, and he had to run. It was about a 200-yard water blind. Like we had a cripple that sailed and died out in the middle of the river, and it wasn't clean. It took him a second off the rip to kind of figure out what we're doing, but after he got about 75 yards out and realized, like, I don't know, you can kind of see he stopped trying to hunt and started trying to watch me again, and then he handled really well and was able to do it, which was awesome. So
that's good. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to come. Train with me anytime.
Yeah, we'll definitely get together and do it. Like I said, I've watched the game from the outside, but I think this dog can. Yeah,
you thinking about playing the game?
Yeah, just doing it. So I don't know, something to do in the off season. Like we're training dogs already, so might as well train and compete against ourselves a little bit. And,
yeah, it's fun. Everybody's rooting for everybody. It's a pass or fail in what we do. So we're like, man, good job, Chris.
Yeah,
we're shooting for you. Or we could give you advice, whatever.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Like I used to team rope, man, and it's a lot of the same.
Okay.
So we competed against each other in team roping, but you still the people. It's just good people. A lot of good people in dog stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you got any cool hunting trips or anything big planned for 24, 25?
I don't. Just our little deal out there is all I got, and then I got some clients that's invited me up next week to go to up north.
Okay.
So
how far north you headed?
Well, you didn't want to say earlier.
Okay. Cool. Well, I didn't know if you were talking different state or
it's
whatever.
Arkansas,
okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna go give them a try this weekend. Like I said, I'm always cautiously optimistic, but Lord knows where them ducks are right now.
Yeah, you never know. We didn't kill, but I think we went last weekend and killed 3 one day and 3 the next.
Yeah.
2 one day and 3 the next. So it wasn't good.
Yeah, I talked to a bunch of guys that during first split, like the first couple of days, I mean, they were definitely on them. Hunting real big groups of guys and shooting some real big numbers, and then it just it seemed like it stair-stepped down all week. If they stayed in the same area, I know a couple of guys moved around and were able to find some kind of middle of the week when the pressure died off a little bit. Yeah. But back by the weekend, it seemed like everybody was kind of scraping out, a few ducks here and there.
Yeah, that seems what most guys you talk to that hunt a lot of public, best times to go are during the week.
Yeah, the second Saturday, we saw, for where we were and what we were expecting, a surprising number of ducks, and we worked a surprising number of ducks, but there's some days where you just don't feel like you can catch a break, and so you'd work a group, and every time it seemed like they were about to set up, just right, the group next to you'd shoot, or somebody else would volley and and screw it up. But
what makes a duck work at the same time the other ducks do?
Man, we were talking about, so it was towards the end of that Saturday hunt. I don't know, because we called it early. It was probably 9:45 or so, and there really hadn't been any shooting for about 30 minutes. Like none of the groups around us were calling ducks. Nobody's shooting ducks. All of a sudden, we have a group, so we hit them. They bank over. They start working around the hole. We work them 2 or 3 times, and all of it it's perfect. Like sun shining, the wind's just right. Like this, they're about to do it. All of a sudden, the group next to us shoots and ruins it, and they bug out and. I yelled across the hall. I was like, what are the mathematical odds of them shooting right now when they haven't shot in 35, 40 minutes? And I thought about it. I was like, well, obviously it's pretty high because they did. But I guess really, all those birds are getting up and moving at the same time. So for wherever those birds were coming from, I guess a group, of a bunch of ducks get up and start trading around at the same time, I guess it's liable for everybody to start shooting again. But
it seems like it's like that.
It seems like it's every single time.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Even in the fields.
Yeah.
You get a group working and they're almost there, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, maybe not the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously the odds are high, but it should be nice if they wouldn't do that. I don't know who we talked to tell the ducks to adjust their schedule and not fly at the same time. But if you decide or figure out who we need to talk to, let me know.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I'd like to get that message across. So y'all hunt your field out of a pit.
Yeah.
So what do you see running a dog out of a pit? Maybe some things to watch for, things not to do. 'Cause that's a foreign experience to me. I've hunted out of a pit a handful of times, but the couple times we went. There's a place up in Missouri, and they ran their dog not out of a box of the pit, but actually staked out behind the blind, up on the lid.
Yeah, perfect.
So how do y'all typically handle dogs?
Yeah, we usually put them in something, a stand, get them away from the gunfire. The biggest thing with the pits are the safety of the dog. We had one last weekend. No, the weekend before on the opener. He's amped, he looks like a crackhead, he just can't sit still. And I'm watching, and as soon as people start shooting, the dog starts inching out there. And it's like, hey, it ain't going to be long. He's going to be in the gunfire.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's one of the main concerns is you're right there with the level of the dog.
You're shooting at dog level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one of the biggest my concerns.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing, hunting in the woods, whatever, you can play the thing, I feel like, a little bit better to your advantage. If you've got a dog, maybe a young dog or a dog you're worried about breaking, even running off a stand, you can set him up a little farther away and give you a second to kind of catch that mistake, as opposed to he's running smack dab in front of the pit and 6 guns are popped up.
Yeah, you got 5 seconds instead of 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can kind of, obviously you never want to break, but sometimes dogs will make a fool out of you.
There's 2 kinds of dogs, right? The ones that are going to break and the ones that do break.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah.
So definitely kind of mitigating any of that danger to the dog is obviously the priority. I'm trying to think of just some other dog-related questions, but so for your hunt test gate, like you off all winter when you start running tests again?
And I think I got 16 there right now.
Okay.
And it's some transition dogs.
Yeah.
Where, we're getting them out of force fetch and running pattern blinds and stuff like that with them. Not just straight out of force fetch, but
Sure.
they're making those transitions, and doing some. Right now we can run some pretty long setups with some of the older dogs that we got. Just teach them, some white coat stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've been kind of thinking about starting to do some of the HRC and
Okay.
and the SRS is really, it's kind of on my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for it yet. I think I got to get good at some other things before I start it. But it's definitely on my list.
So, as a trainer, like when you're saying that, like you don't know if you're ready, you don't know if the dogs can run those, or as a handler / trainer.
I guess when I look at it, I just think about the experience. Like I don't have experience in HRC yet. I haven't ever run one.
Okay.
I just, the guy that taught me how to do it, that's all he did was run AKC, and I never have. I feel like I'm capable. The dogs are very well capable. I just ain't got that experience yet. And I think until I can see it happen, I just ain't going to be, comfortable doing it.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from your perspective as a trainer, what do you think what are the pros of the AKC style testing as opposed to the HRC?
The pros of it?
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't got to use a gun every day.
Okay, yeah.
We ain't got to sit on the bucket,
Yeah.
We ain't got to buy the poppers. I don't know, I think it's kind of getting more balanced now than it used to be, like the technical part of it. You hear people say that AKC used to be, a lot harder than HRC, but then you got the Grand that people say it's the hardest. I think the pass rate in the spring was like 20%, and maybe this fall it was like 35%. I think it was the Master National was I want to say it was like a 30-something% pass rate. I'm not for sure on that one. I don't know. I think they both, have their leniencies. I guess like the Masters, the AKC stuff, they'll deal with the dog creeping a little bit more than like the Grand. They want the line manners to be on point.
Sure.
I don't know. I think I think a lot more people do the HRC. It's more like hunting.
Yeah.
Like a hunting background. You're using the gun and, just, I guess it's a lot more people rather do that than see how good the dog really is at, doing certain things.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. I was like, if somebody's listening to this and maybe they're about to get a puppy for Christmas and they're starting to look at trainers, or maybe they've got a dog and they're thinking about sending it off. I guess trying to decide like what they're trying to get out of the dog, and would it affect the trainer you send it to if that trainer runs only HRC stuff, or if that trainer's running only AKC or whatever. So that was kind of my thought behind that, was like, as a hunter with a dog, like if I'm looking for a dog trainer to kind of work this dog in the off season, but I'm looking to hunt this dog, like what are your thoughts on kind of the route to go there?
I think everybody, like, they're gonna basically get it ready, like, and expose it to, like, the things you need it to be exposed to, like working it out of a dog stand, or working it out of a Visiblind or whatever they're called, putting it in a skid blind, a boat, just everything that you can possibly think of that you're gonna, try to expose it to. Gunfire, obviously. The biggest thing I would say as far as picking a trainer, obviously probably the number one is how a lot of people want somebody they're close to so they can go and be a part of it or go see their dog when they want to. But I would just like go out and visit and meet the people and watch the dogs go. I mean, I don't know, like maybe you hit it off with somebody and you go to the next one and you don't really like them.
Sure.
We're all different. We all got different personalities. I think that's a big important deal is how you communicate with people.
Yeah.
If you can communicate with me, good, great. If you can't, then you may do the next guy. That may be more of it than anything.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, a dog that's capable of succeeding in either the AKC stuff or the HRC stuff, like a dog that can succeed in either of those is going to be plenty capable for the hunting scenarios that most guys are going to try to put them into.
Oh, yeah. It's like once you get the dog exposed to the hunting stuff and get him some experience, if you spend the time as a handler, that's the biggest thing we see is just because I trained it, if you buy a stick shift and don't know how to drive one, it don't make us look good as trainers.
Yeah.
Just for instance, I got a client that's been coming out quite a bit this year before season opened, and he's gotten really good at handling the dog, especially on blinds. He's learning how to do that, and you can just tell, he's having way more fun with his dog, this year, as exposed to last year. It was toward the end of the season before he hunted her, and they just didn't have a good time.
Yeah.
This year he's having a ball.
He's having fun.
Yeah. It's all coming together, and it's all because he's putting in the work.
Yeah. I can't remember. There was a trainer. I can't remember who said the quote, but it was something along the lines of you go buy a race car and give it the hands of 16-year-old, like it ain't gonna end well. So it don't matter how nice that dog is if you don't know how to drive it. Mm-hmm. That's a real good point.
Mm-hmm. It is, man. It's everything if you can go out there and learn how to do all the commands and the hand signals and stuff, and it makes a big difference for sure. No matter if the guy's doing HRC or whatever.
Yeah.
Or a lady.
Yeah. Yeah, whomever it may be.
Yeah, whomever it may be.
Yeah. So Singing Creek, for anybody who's interested in following you or seeing what you're doing, you on social media?
Yeah, I think I got a TikTok, Sinking Creek Kennels, and then we got an Instagram and Facebook, or Blake Haithcoat. Like I post a lot on there. But yeah, we're out in Cloverdale, right there, almost to the Tennessee line from Florence. If you're interested in it, it's and you're close, come hang out. We'll run dogs and see what yours can do.
Yeah.
It's great in the off season. If you care much about the dog and keeping it healthy, it's great to do it and get involved in it for sure. It's a growing sport. It's growing big time since I got in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's growing good.
Yeah, so, man, if you're relatively close to Northwest Alabama and are curious, give Blake a shout. Come by and see what he's got going on. Blake's good people, so come meet some dogs, come run some dogs, and I'm sure if you have any questions maybe about your dog or issues you're facing, hit him up on social media. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer any questions or help you with any problems you may be having. So I'm trying to think. I think that's about everything we want to cover. Anything you want to say about Singing Creek or what you got going on?
Man, I'm just old country boy training dogs,
Heck yeah.
I like to duck hunt, and if you want to talk dogs, I love talking dogs to whoever, helping.
Yeah.
That's how I got my start, Somebody helped me.
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's hunting or life or whatever. Like, we don't get anywhere without somebody somewhere helping us along the way. So, man, if we just keep it to ourselves, it don't do nobody no good anyway.
It don't.
But, Well, Blake, thanks for carving out a few minutes to come sit down and talk dogs and hunting for a little bit. And hope y'all absolutely smack them across the river this week.
Yeah, too. Yeah, maybe they're still there this weekend.
Man,
get after them.
The only way we can find out is go look.
That's right.
So, all right. Hey, to all your listeners out there, thanks for sticking with us this long. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.
Join the team that is making a real difference. Ducks Unlimited is powered by people like you. With your help, we can continue to raise funds that drive wetlands conservation across the continent. Whether you are out selling event tickets, securing donations, or finding that next sponsor, we have a role for everyone. Sign up today to join your local DU chapter at ducks.org/volunteer or attend your local DU event. Ducks Unlimited, conservation for a continent.